Good evening. The Board of Trustees of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Monday, November 10th, 2014, in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center, 10,300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by Section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. Tonight's invocation will be presented by Teresa Hall, Associate Superintendent for Governmental Relations, Communications, and Chief of Staff. Cy-Fair High School JROTC cadets presenting the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance are Jackson Gilbert, Haley Nauman, James Ritchie, and John Mabita. Their sponsors are Captain Scott Thomas and Senior Master Sergeant Michael Claiborne. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Wait. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the freedoms we enjoy in our country. Tomorrow we will honor the thousands of men and women who have fought for these freedoms and have given their lives to safeguard this land, its founding beliefs, and to protect us. Please help us to never forget the great deeds they have done.
Also, Lord, we ask your protection and guidance for the military men and women who are presently serving at home and abroad. Father, we know your presence will remain in this room tonight as our trustees make decisions for our children and teachers. Bless each board member with wisdom. And Father, as the Thanksgiving holidays approach, we ask that you watch over our employees, our students, and their families, especially those traveling to be with loved ones. We also remember those who are not so fortunate. Help us to find ways to share our love and concern with them. In your name we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Thank you, Ms. Hall and cadets. Board Member Dr. John Ogletree will read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience. Dr. O?
Our vision statement: learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Our mission statement: maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
Thank you, John. Before we start, got a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. Our TV crew tonight is from Cypress Ridge High School. It's Key-Ryan Mayberry, Viridiana Martinez, Diego Beltran, Cassandra Martinez, Janie Doster Ward, and Eric Luna. And their AVP advisor is Michael Pena. And I do want to recognize, I know he's here because they told me you were here. Travis Barr from Troop 901 is here because I think he has to be, right? I know, hey.
Exactly.
Sorry, dude. At least you get the badge. And then our musical prelude that you heard coming in was from the Cypress Falls Chamber Orchestra, and it was Chaconne in E minor, Nocturne, and Momentum. And I thought it was Katy Perry. I didn't know heard those. We will now move on to the special recognitions portion of the agenda. Agenda item 1A, the board will recognize Carla Reyes, Duryea Elementary School, and Sarah Magavero, Goodson Middle School, for being selected as 2014 winners of the Texas Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, ASCD Teach Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Classroom. Our presenter will be Dr. Macias.
Good evening, President Ryan, trustees, and Dr. Henry. I am honored to present to outstanding Cypress ISD teachers who were recognized by the Texas Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, known as the ASCD. Each year, the ASCD selects a secondary and an elementary teacher to honor with the Teach Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Classroom. TEACH stands for Texas Educators Achieving Classroom Honors, and this award recognizes educators with fewer than 5 years of classroom experience who generate high-achieving students by inspiring, mentoring, and challenging them through the use of effective classroom strategies. I am proud to share with you that both the elementary and secondary teachers selected for this year's award and recognized on October 28th at the Texas ASCD Conference are both from Cypher ISD. Sarah Magavro was selected as the ASCD Secondary Teach Award recipient. You'll come forward, Sarah. She is a 6th grade science teacher at Goodson Middle School, so we're very proud of her. Family members, friends, and colleagues of Sarah's, please stand to be recognized. And Carla Reyes was selected as the ASCD Elementary Teach Award winner. Ms. Reyes is a 4th grade bilingual teacher at Duryea Elementary. So friends, colleagues, and family members of Ms. Reyes, please stand to also be recognized. Both of these teachers will receive a one-year Texas ASCD membership and recognition in the leadership publication, highlighting their classroom achievements. Congratulations again, and we're very proud of you.
Thank you, Linda. Ladies, I have to tell you, Mr. Hoffman and I, we thought y'all were students. No, that's quite an honor, and congratulations, and we are thrilled that you chose Cypher ISD to teach. So thank you. The superintendent will make remarks and announcements, including the honors and achievements earned by staff and students in recent weeks. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bob Covey, one of our trustees, was reelected to a one-year term on the Texas Association of School Boards Board of Directors, so we're certainly proud of Bob. In athletics, in boys cross country, Cy Woods placed first in district, with Langham Creek placing second and Cy Ranch third. In girls cross country, Cy Fair won first place in district. Second place went to Cy Woods, and Cy Creek finished third. Cy Fair girls placed second, and Cy Woods fourth in the Region 3 6A Cross Country Championship. They both qualified for the State Cross Country Championship, placing among the top 10. In boys regionals, 3 individuals qualified for state championships. At the state meet last weekend in Round Rock, the Cy Fair girls placed 10th overall, and Cy Woods placed 14th. In volleyball, Cy Fair and Cy Ranch were co-district champions, followed by Cy Falls, 3rd place, and Jersey Village, 4th place. All 4 teams won their Region 3 6A by-district playoff games. Cy Ranch won their area round playoff game and will advance to regional quarterfinals against Cinco Ranch tomorrow night, and that's at the Campbell Center in Aldine. In tennis, the District 17 6A tennis championship resulted in a 3-way tie between Cy Ranch, Cy Woods, and Langham Creek. Cy Ranch finished as runner-up at the area competition to qualify for the Region 3 6A tournament where their season ended. Langham Creek won our district football championship with an undefeated 9-0 record, and also was recently recognized as the Cube Channel 57 Allegiance Bank Team of the Week. Cy Ranch placed second, Cy Woods third, and Cy Fair fourth. All 4 teams will compete in by-district playoff games this coming weekend. In band, 8 CFISD marching bands, Cy Fair, Cy Creek, Cy Falls, Cy Ranch, Cy Ridge, Cy Woods, Jersey Village, and Langham Creek earned Division I ratings at the UIL Region 27 marching contest to qualify for the UIL Area E area marching contest. At the area contest, Cy Fair, Cy Creek, Cy Falls, and Langham Creek advanced to the finals. Both Cy Fair and Cy Falls placed in the top 4 of area finals and advanced to the UIL State Marching Contest that was held last week. Congratulations to all of our talented students, staff, and board members.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. Tonight is a pretty special night, and so I'd like to rearrange the agenda and take agenda item 6A and deal with that right now. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the naming of the Science Resource Center. Ms. McGoy.
I move that the board approve the naming of the Science Resource Center in honor of an extraordinary scientist and an equally extraordinary educator, and the new building will be called, or the building will be newly called, the Charlotte Burns Science Resource Center.
I have a motion from Ms. Mongoya. Can I have a second, Ms. Hartley? All those in favor, please signify. Good news, Charlotte. It's unanimous. Yeah, she's going to get to say something. Dr. Henry has something he wants to say. Charlotte, I know this is a special evening because my parents actually showed up, and I know they weren't here to support their favorite child. So I knew this was special. And my mother was actually on the, I think your first sex ed committee? Not a good year for me. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Henry.
I just want to read a little bit about Charlotte's career, and certainly it was an honor for us to make this recommendation to the board. Ms. Burns served CFISD for 31 years of her 40-year career in public education. During this time, she worked tirelessly to ensure students' learning and academic growth to promote teachers' use of effective instructional strategies to reach all students. Her tenure in CFISD began at Hancock and Adam Elementary Schools, followed by a 10-year stretch teaching 6th and 7th grade science at Arnold Middle School, where she also served as the science team leader. Ms. Burns was named Director of Instruction at Dean Middle School while also serving as CFISD's Middle School Science Coordinator, and in 2001 assumed the position of Director of Secondary Science 6 through 12. She closed out her career by serving as the Director of Curriculum and Instruction for middle schools. Ms. Burns' career as an educator was highlighted by membership and officer positions in a variety of professional organizations. Ms. Burns served as President, President-elect, and Treasurer of the Texas Science Education Leadership Association, and President-elect for the Metropolitan Association of Teachers of Science. She also served as a member of the Building a Presence for Science Key Leaders Initiative through the National Science Teachers Association. Former Superintendent Dr. David Anthony said of Ms. Burns, "Charlotte is and always has been a role model for students interested in science and for those of us who needed to learn how to be happy, adventurous, and calm under pressure. She lived life like a scientist, always looking for the next discoverable thing." Ms. Burns' significant contributions and influence on science education, both within CFISD and the entire state, are worthy of this significant tribute. I am so grateful that tonight the board approved the naming of this facility as the Charlotte Burns Science Resource Center. And we're going to invite her up.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. Charlotte, you want to come up? Obviously, this is a huge day because there's numerous namesakes that came out to celebrate with Charlotte, and so we're really glad all of y'all are here. So go ahead, please.
Dr. Henry, Mr. Ryan, President, and the rest of the board members, I am just so honored and flattered and excited to be here tonight. I know that I did not do this by myself. It's an humbling experience to have your name put on a building. So I just see it as a circle. Everybody is part of a big circle. And we're going to start with the teachers because they are the hard workers of the district, elementary, middle, and high school. They're out there every day coming up with those innovative lessons to keep kids interested, keep them excited about science. And then they're, like Tom Strother is here tonight, the principal, the director of instruction, all the people who support them at the school. That's one part of the circle. And then we go to the next part of the circle, and that would be, of course, the Science Resource Center, because they may have a lab or they may have a Van de Graaff generator or something that the teacher needs to enrich her classroom or his classroom. And then finally, it would be the district support. We've got people in here who, made this Science Resource Center stay around, and that's a good deal. And a huge volunteer base for the Science Resource Center. So I would just like to say that I am just one tiny part of that big circle. But I want to tell you that I'm so appreciative that you've made me a permanent part of that circle. So thank you so much, and I would like to introduce some people, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to start with our family. You can't do anything without family support. And my family has certainly been there. I think that's one reason that I was a teacher, and Kristen decided she did not want to be a teacher because she saw the things I was doing at home. Anyway, I'd like to introduce my husband first, of 46 years, Charlie Burns. Then our daughter, Kristen. And Evie, and this is Jordan, the father of Evie. And then my daughter-in-law had some type of bug tonight, so couldn't come. But our son is here, and I believe he has some teachers here who remember some things. So Charles Burns is here tonight. And then we've saved the best for last. We've got two grandsons, so if you could stand up, please. We've got CK, and let's turn around. Oh, yeah, I want to hug you, too. And we've got Grant. CK and Grant, so y'all can sit down. Okay. Now, how many of the other ones can I introduce tonight?
You know what? Hey, seriously, this is your night. That's right. And the Texans had a bye this week, so I got nothing to do.
Well,
You go ahead.
Let's just start off then. This is Walt and Susan Corey. Susan was the secondary science coordinator here for years and years and years, and she made a huge impact. They live in Belton now. This is Sandra Coffey, high school now at a private high school. Eileen Newland, Christine Tremonti. These are all high school. They've grouped together, okay? This is Sharon Dillard. She and I taught at Arnold for many years, and many animals got out of our room and went back and forth and chewed up things. And Penny Johnson, who was also at Arnold. Cheryl Giroux, who was also at Arnold. And so they're sitting together. Then we've got the Adam group. Did any of y'all want to talk about Chuck? No. Okay. Okay. That's right. Okay, Glenda Marshall, Jean Boyd, Diane Bachnight. Just a minute. You changed her name. Barbara Wynn. Okay. Liz Barnes and Lindy Sabia. Close enough. So that's my Adam group. And then there's Josie Kessler and Charlotte, who were at Campbell, and then Josie was a DI. There's Gloria Anderson, Language Arts. I don't know where you are right now. Thornton. Then Cheryl Salyards. Cheryl and I began at Hancock together. She was in Deaf Ed, and I was teaching fourth grade. Deb Hill, who was a science teacher, who is the science coordinator now for secondary. Laurel Frank was my helping teacher. She is science coordinator in Magnolia. Denise Martin, Alice Flood, both from the SRC. Yes. Okay, then Barbara Koba, who was the elementary math and science coordinator for a long time. So she's here tonight. Thank you. Okay, let's go down here. Some red ones. I don't know them. Okay. All right, we have to go right over here. Said I could do this. Okay, we have Linda and Leonard Merrill, who Leonard was superintendent in Katy for a long time and has retired and is doing other things. And Linda was staff development, and she's just having fun. She's just having fun. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. Oh, there is my sex ed committee member. Betty, if you would stand up and let your husband stand up. Okay. Okay. This is a student that I taught, oh my goodness, so many years ago, and now she's a principal. Now she's a principal. Jeanette Giroux, that is right. And y'all are tricking me on all these names here. Ann Gray was part of our science support team. Sherma Duck was too. She's now a principal. Carrie Mars, Sarah Hardy. Oh, you just came in. Dave Hughes, he did summer school for us and supported us in science. Leslie Francis taught science at Watkins together. Okay. All right. Oh, there's Mary Jedlowski that I worked with for a long time, and Barbara Lewandowski. I didn't get to work directly with Kendra Leonard, but it was close. Okay. There's Carrie Huff, principal. I am. Okay.
Hopefully none of y'all have to go to the
Y'all,
bathroom.
these
Just
are
be a little bit
important
longer.
people. These are important people. So you need
Absolutely.
to remember them. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh. Thank you for coming. Here's Miss Judy Kayla. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, thank you for coming. I know that was a lot. Pat Smith is here tonight. She was the reading coordinator, and Judy was in charge of staff development for years, and she's namesake, of course, for Kayla Middle School. Pat, reading. Frances Smith is now a teacher, and she's in our Sunday school class. And Colette Havman was a counselor at Adam, and she comes to our birthday events. Tom Strother, oh my goodness, he and I were principal and DI together at Dean. Skit, you is going to eat that worm. Yeah, we did a lot of skits and things together, and so we worked together quite a few years, and I know about when he's going to tell a joke. And then Carolyn Spillane, one of my bosses in curriculum, and Deanna Swinky, the boss in curriculum, and then Lucinda Orr, and there's Jose Martinez. Okay, now did I leave anybody out? I don't want to. I really am excited, and I just am overwhelmed at the response of all of you who came out tonight, and makes me very, very happy and nearly want to cry, but I'm not going to do that. So anyway, thank you so much.
You know Charlotte's a special person when you get the likes of Judy Kayla, Cheryl Sayers, Deanna Swinky, and Carolyn Spillane, who have names on buildings to come to this meeting. And then I would like to point out that Miss Corey, who was on the second row there, was my biology teacher. So I had one person that taught sex here, and my mother who tried to stop it here. So that's awesome. That's an awesome night for me. Hey, let's take a few-minute break because I know my dad definitely wants to go home. So we can congratulate these honorees. So let's take a quick break. And by the way, after the break, we'll start with the business portion of the agenda. So if you do want to go, now's the time to go. Agenda item 2A, any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time. Any board member like to make a comment? Darcy?
I just wanted to go on record thanking Lisa Shive for all she's doing to get us to our school visits. I know it's a lot of hard work, and I know she's not in the audience. But will someone pass that on to her? We appreciate her coordinating our schedules and all the principals' schedules.
Darcy, we will do that. In fact, that's Teresa's secretary, so just that Lisa was recognized in the board meeting for all she does to coordinate the visits.
That's neat, Darcy, especially since Teresa had to let her go today. No, not really. Thank you for saying that.
I have a comment. Whenever you-
Ms. Hartley?
Okay. What a great night. This has just been amazing. So I wanted to thank everybody that was here. And I wanted to remind people that we had a work session on Thursday, and it's on videotape. We have different reports that come out on Thursday that you maybe don't get to hear on the Monday night when you're attending or you're watching. So I'd like to recommend, please watch the Thursday meeting. We had great discussions about the math curriculum. We had other discussions about finance and different things, and you won't see that maybe on the Monday night. But if you'll watch the Thursday night video, you'll get to see a lot of the board interacting with administration and the questions that we ask. And I would just recommend that everybody watch the Thursday night meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hartley. Mr. Covey?
I just wanted to congratulate all the bands. What a tremendous outing it's been over the past 3 weeks, being able to see them compete. That was exciting, and I spent about 14 hours in the car with Dr. Macias, and I think there's a hazardous pay that I get for that. I'm not sure, but I will tell you that it comes to curriculum, I've heard about all I really need to hear for a while. No, I'm just kidding. Dr. Macias is great. But I'm so proud of our band organizations. They've just done absolutely a wonderful job, which doesn't take away from anything else. It just seems like everything that we go and witness here, the football games, volleyball games, basketball games, anything that we go and see. We saw the play recently at Cy Ranch. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing the talent out there. And it's so good to feel that this is one district, that we're not just 10 or 12 or 14 different schools. This is one district, and that's what feels great. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else? Mr. Jackson?
You know, whenever you go on a diet, you always kind of fall off the wagon, and the same is true with me. 11 visits, wearing pink, giving pink, too many journeys, old and new, one family, many arms, many voices, one song, you are not alone. Cornerstone of great leadership is support of employees and those you lead. Tonight I tip my pink hat to campus leadership for their caring support of their staff and their family. 7 making stops, 13 stops of distinction, Lampkin, Millsap, 6 each. Incremental teaching innovations with and without technology. Data-driven, results-oriented, research-based. A nod of the hat to the staff of our campuses and their leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Anyone else? That'll take us to agenda item 3A, citizen participation. Patrons who have duly registered per policy BED local may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest to the district other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. I would like to remind the audience and the viewers that the comments of the speakers reflect their own positions or opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter that is not listed under the action item portion of the agenda. Therefore, board members may not discuss the comments of speakers. Please understand that a lack of a response from board members does not indicate agreement or approval of the comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board. Ms. Christine Hartley, Secretary of the Board, will be the designated timekeeper. If this is your first time to speak at a board meeting, I'd like for you to go up to the podium on my right and your left, and there's 3 lights on there. When you start speaking, the green light will come on, and with about 30 seconds left, the yellow light will come on, and when the red light comes on, I need you to please wrap up your comments. We have 6 speakers that have signed up to speak tonight. Our first speaker will be Brandy Best.
Hi there. I've made copies of a handout that I'd like for you guys to look over. If you can pass one. I don't know if I made enough copies, so I have 10, so if you'd like to share. My concerns, looking at the paper, you'll know, my concerns and frustrations are in regards to this math curriculum. I'm a parent of a 3rd grade student. Since grade 1, she's a kiddo that needs extra time in grasping all the math. Leaving second grade, we had wonderful teachers and cheerleaders that took the time to make sure that math clicked. Now that we're in third grade, that's not the case because apparently teachers don't necessarily have the time to do so. I understand tutoring is offered, and yes, I believe our principals and our teachers want our kids to succeed. However, I think it's too much. I've attended the trainings and at the parent meetings, both at our school and at the Berry Center, and they are somewhat helpful in understanding the reasoning behind the current Cypher approach to math. However, I believe things do need to change. Ms. Richter has explained that Cypher has raised the ceiling in educating our kids in math. The math our third graders are now expected to know is what used to be the fourth and fifth grade and some sixth grade math a few years ago. And in looking at the agenda and reports, I'm anxious to learn what changes are happening and will be implemented in the elementary math curriculum, and I will take a look at that online, as you mentioned. I'm hoping Cypher will make necessary changes to make their curriculum to be developmentally appropriate. And looking at that review, the answer key review, quiz review, this was a quiz review that was given the week that they introduced multiplication, only of which a focus was made to multiplication tables up to times, ones and twos, but yet they had only a week later on this review and quiz, third graders were expected to know and understand and perform the skills with answers of problems that were 6 times 8. That seems a little absurd when the 6 and 8's times tables haven't even been covered yet, and when the 1s and 2s haven't even been mastered, let alone third graders for papers are expected to look like that. I'm not a parent that's anti-4-step. I believe it's a good strategy. However, it should not be mandatory for every problem and be the sole purpose of problem solving. Kids themselves can recognize that they can get to the correct answer, but get points off the entire problem is wrong because they didn't follow the Cypher way of strategies every single time. Additionally, I think Cypher needs to keep in mind that when testing and quizzes, they should be given at the same level of what they learned that week and not jumping ahead. Our 8 and 9-year-olds should not be having anxiety and stress. Homework should not take 2 hours to do. Bringing home 40s, 50s, and 30s on assignments. Kiddos are thinking they're not smart enough. I'm sad for my daughter, who was an honor roll kiddo last year. She will not have that privilege this year because she simply cannot keep up, because I believe the district's expectations are too high for her age, her grade level. Cypher is hindering our kiddos, and more focus is being spent on the mastering the strategies. And I believe that Cypher needs to make their math more developmentally appropriate.
Thank you, Ms. Best. Our next speaker will be Dr. Frances Smith.
Good evening, President Ryan, board members, and Dr. Henry. With the elections behind us, concerned and knowledgeable educators in the state are focusing on the new leadership to see where the first battles, quote unquote, will occur with the newly elected officials. Inequities in school funding, still caught in the appeals process, tying student results to teacher pay, charter schools, and vouchers are some of the possible education issues, creating worry for educators who know that the extreme conservative politics will present itself in the new Texas legislature. It will be up to those of us who know the research and understand that using politics to push an agenda which does not help students should not dictate what happens in a schoolroom. Educators are the experts, politicians are not. The inequities in school funding have gone on way too long, and now the political right-wing leadership is composed of those who do not support desperately needed equitable funding for public schools. Instead, they promote vouchers for poor students and charter schools as better and less expensive options. What the general public does not know is that charter schools have not proved to be a statistically better option, and vouchers do not bridge the gap for poor students because their parents do not have the funds to make up the difference between vouchers and the actual cost of private school tuitions. Conservatives have long chanted the mantra that public schools are not doing a good job teaching the students because the extremists have a record of voting against the funds, but then they will turn around and say, "We told you so," when the test results are not brilliant. The state of Texas should stop appealing the lawsuit aimed at equitable funding and do what the state promised to do many, many years ago, which is support the state schools. Yet it has been appealed twice. We are now at the mercy of someone who does not think that it's important. The money is needed in so many ways it boggles the mind. Roughly 10% of the state school districts account for 80% of enrollment growth. A news article recently noted that none of the districts are getting any monetary assistance for this enrollment growth, including Cy-Fair. Even though Cy-Fair is lauded for keeping its outstanding debt per student at $16,000 compared to higher amounts in other districts, we still feel the squeeze that the public does not see. Texas's public schools will have to survive the onslaught of extreme conservatism in the next legislature. The fight to receive the money we need will be difficult, but there is no choice. Our kids are depending on us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Our next speaker will be Vicki Young.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys today. I am a proud product of Cypress ISD, lived here my whole life, and am coming to you today as a proud parent of two little boys that are also now a product of Cypress ISD, in particular in the 1st and 3rd grade. So tonight I wanted to come speak to you and deliver some feedback as an end user of the product that is the new math curriculum. I think it's important as consumers to provide adequate feedback to drive change as necessary. For the last 7 weeks, my usually overly joyful and very optimistic, outgoing third grader has spent his evenings in tears of frustration and anger. The abundance of detail that's required in each part of the 4-step process is cumbersome and seemingly unnecessary. While I do understand the need to develop a higher level of conceptual thought for our children, the lack of focus on basic math facts and simple math methodology is doing a disservice to everyone. The struggle is not with the concepts. The struggle is in the details. Teaching to solve 24 times 8 by adding 24 to itself 8 times offers an abundance of opportunity to make a careless mistake in those details. I've asked multiple times for some kind of lesson plan look ahead, something that tells me what's coming, and I have hit brick wall after brick wall. I have been given many excuses and reasons as to why current curriculum is being written in the current school year and being taught in the current school year. It's my opinion that teachers are forced to act in a reactionary mode. I just want to help my child be successful, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes, like I would assume the majority of all the other parents sitting in this room are willing to do. However, I am no longer willing to put my child through the stress and the rigor that this overly aggressive change in curriculum has caused. And I'm looking to the board to provide immediate mitigating action. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Our next speaker will be Richard Martin.
Good evening, President Ryan, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. Cypress TSTA NEA would like to thank you for placing the item of declaring November 19th to be Education Support Professionals Day on your agenda. This day has been placed during American Education Week to recognize the women and men who meet the needs of students, not necessarily by teaching, but performing their duties to enhance the learning environment. It has been said that it takes a village to raise a child. In Cypress-Fairbanks, that village is made up of administrators, teachers, bus drivers, food service workers, maintenance and operations, our grounds department, and others. As a part of that village, we strive to meet the needs of our students. Our bus drivers and mechanics check the buses daily to make sure they are in top working order to transport our students to school and back home safely. Our bus drivers are the first and last to see our students and will know whether they've had a good day or not. Food service workers meet the needs of our students by providing nutritious meals so they will be able to complete their daily activities without being hungry. To some of our students, these may be the only meals they will receive during the day. The maintenance department consists of carpenters, electricians, plumbers, HVAC department, painters, grounds, and many more to provide our facilities the environments needed for the success of teachers to teach and students to learn. The custodial staff deserve recognition for taking on tasks that others would not care to do. They keep our restrooms clean and sanitary, clean our classrooms and cafeterias, then fill the dumpsters full of garbage we generate each day while maintaining positive attitudes. Paraprofessionals and secretaries are a great part of our village to meet the needs of students. Classroom paras work closely with teachers both in and out of the classroom. Sometimes they may be required to take on the role of a teacher as needs arise. Our secretaries are the ones who make sure our districts run smoothly by providing administrators and teachers the materials and information they need for students' successful learning. We at Cyfair TSTA appreciate your consideration on this agenda item to recognize and support our educational support professionals. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Martin. Our next speaker will be Mary Stoner.
Good evening, President Ryan, Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry, and viewing audience. My name is Mary Stoner, and I am president of Cyfair TSTA NEA. Bloom's taxonomy, formulated in 1956, is still being used to criticize teachers when their students are not ready for analysis. Does anyone remember Madeline Hunter and her structured lesson cycle? Oh, heaven help us if we didn't have closure. Robert Marzano's instructional strategies. Wait, did he even teach? Differentiated instruction, a teaching strategy mandated daily, even though there is no data to support that it's effective. Brain-based learning, quantum learning, clap, clap, whoosh, window panes, Ruby Payne, Rita Dunn, and Carol Ann Tomlinson. These are but a very few of the strategies we have been required to use. Now, these can be useful tools. However, they become forced gimmicks unless chosen by our creative teachers and not mandated by ISC administration. But scripted lessons, since I've been associated with Cyfair, it's always been the teachers who have catapulted our district to levels of national recognition. And we did this without being handed a scripted lesson that tells us what to teach, how to teach, and when to teach. We were given the freedom to use our professional judgment. What has happened? Last month, we heard the parents of our community relate stories about the ways their children are reacting to these scripted lessons and to the ticking of the clock that now runs the classroom. And like them, we see the anxiety and frustration in our students' eyes. And as you've heard, our hands are tied. We are told to teach the lesson as directed. Understand, we are fully aware that state-mandated TEKS must be covered and that a variety of teaching techniques and tools is desirable. But let us be the judge of what works best. Include us in the decision-making process that affects our students, our community, and us. Cyfair TSTA would like to suggest the creation of a committee that allows productive collaboration among those making the decision and those affected by the decisions, including parents and teachers. And as a longtime active resident of our Cypress community and a 40-plus year exceeds expectation teacher, I would like to be included in these committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stoner. Our final speaker of the evening will be Susan Epperson.
Good evening, Dr. Henry, Mr. Ryan, trustees. It was my great privilege to be part of the inaugural initiative of Camp Summit, a program designed to address our struggling readers' learning needs. Most students that participated in the program were a couple of reading levels below where they should have been by the end of the year. Taking part in Camp Summit offered the opportunity to continue with their learning momentum instead of backsliding during the summer. The students were eager to attend and experience growth and success. They had the structure of small group and the novelty of enrichment, which included Karen Lowry, a storyteller, and many animals from the Science Resource Center. I would like to share a truth that I learned. When you are part of a campus, you build what you hope to be a nurturing and challenging learning environment. It takes a lot of folks coming together to achieve an environment that fosters engagement and learning. When you step outside your campus, you look around to see if everyone is like-minded. The truth I learned is there are so many people in this district that are, and they have a heart for children. And that begins with you, the board members. You are the stewards of forward momentum and academic excellence. Your charge is to recognize an authentic vision and put systems in place to achieve that vision. Thank you for recognizing the vision of Camp Summit. The coordinators and support staff that facilitated the program worked endless hours and saw to every detail. Their energy level was contagious, and they passed it on to teachers during training, thus perpetuating the forward motion from teachers to students. What an incredible gift you gave our students. And I can't think of a more worthy cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Epperson. Nope. Okay. They're reminding me that I actually missed doing something. And actually, Charlotte did too, because these are people she didn't even announce. So, we have people from our CLC that are in the audience tonight. I want to recognize them. Leslie Martone, who's also the leader of our chamber. That's all you get. That's my time's up, huh? Kelly Ray with Community Impact and Marie Leonard with Community Impact are here. Who else?
Stacey Anderson.
Stacey Anderson is here? Okay. Did I miss anybody? I don't have as many people as Charlotte did, but, you know. Awesome. Thank y'all for coming tonight. During the Committee of the Whole meeting on Thursday, November 6, 2014, the following reports were received. Agenda item 4A, the administration provided an oral report on 2 summer programs, the primary literacy camp and algebra camp. They also provided an oral report on changes to the elementary math curriculum. I think that would be what Ms. Hartley was referencing during her board comments. And then the administration provided a written report on the end-of-year academic performance and literacy assessment of elementary students in grades K through 2 for the 2013-14 school year. Also, during the course of the Committee of the Whole meeting, it was the consensus of the board that the following action items be approved as submitted or amended. 5A, the board will consider approving bids and contracts and are authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. 5B, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 5C, the board will consider approving the budget amendments for the period of July 1st, 2014 through September 30th, 2014. 5D, the board will consider approving tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypher ISD. And E, the board will consider approving the minutes of the October 13th, 2014 regular meeting. On Thursday, the following non-consensus items were placed on the consent agenda. 6B, the board will consider approving the Cypress-Fairbanks Professional Development and Appraisal System certified appraisers for the 2014-15 school year as outlined in the certified appraisal report. And 6C, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policy CRD local. 6D, the board will consider approving the district's 2014 comprehensive annual financial report and accept the auditor's report on the district's general purpose financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2014. E, the board will consider approving the auditor's report on the district's fiscal year ended June 30, 2014, required by provisions of the Single Audit Act of 1984, U.S. Office of Management and Budget Circular A-128. And then F, the board will consider approval and execution of the plat for the educational facility site located in Canyon Wakes West and Marabilla and West Road. And we addressed item 6A, the naming of the Science Resource Center, earlier this evening. If any board member wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended. Motion, Dr. Ogletree?
Mr. President, I move that the consensus agenda items that you have mentioned be approved as recommended and amended.
Motion, Dr. Ogletree. Second, Mr. Covey. Any questions from board members? Go ahead. That's why I asked.
Because I kind of got Matt Morgan on the spotlight the other night, and I was wrong in what I thought, and Matt did some research. Thank you, Matt. But just, I always think it's always nice to know kind of what we're dealing with sometimes. And whenever the item came up on the fuel. So just kind of tell us this little mandate we have and how much money we spend on transportation and how much the state gives us to cover that transportation. And how long has it been since that's been changed?
I think it's been since, I think, 1985, since the formula was changed. We spend about $35 million a year on transportation, and we're refunded about $7.7 million from the state. So they cover about 23% of our transportation cost.
Okay, that's just something I think everyone in our district needs to know. That's just one of the small things that we have to cover the difference for. Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Covey. Any other questions from board members? I have a motion from Dr. Ogletree, a second from Mr. Covey. All those in favor, please signify. It's unanimous. We will now go on to the superintendent's briefing portion of the agenda. Dr. Henry will make comments and provide information on various topics. Dr. Henry.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our veterans for their service to our country as we celebrate Veterans Day tomorrow, November 11th. It is because of you that we are able to meet tonight and enjoy the freedoms we so often take for granted. And one thing I'd like to add to that is I've been asked before, why is this not a student holiday? Well, one of the main reasons it's not a student holiday is we use it as a learning experience for our students. I was able to attend a wonderful Veterans Day program at Millsap last Friday, and we have those going on all over the district, and I think it's just a wonderful day for our students to learn about the sacrifice that our veterans have made, and it's a great learning opportunity. December 1st through 4th, our STAR end-of-course exams will take place for students who have completed these courses: English 1, English 2, Algebra 1, Biology, and U.S. History. And I doubt I have to remind anybody of this, but I will anyway, that schools will be closed November 24th through 28th for the Thanksgiving holidays. Some of our support facilities, including the Instructional Support Center, will be closed. I'd like to wish all students and employees a relaxing and safe holiday as we take time to be thankful for the many freedoms and blessings that we enjoy in this country. And one thing that I've talked about to people about here lately is I'm not for sure that we're always as thankful as we should be for living in this country, living in this community. As I see events going on across the world, we really are blessed among people. And I think that although we should remember that all the times, certainly Thanksgiving is a time when we can focus on it. So thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Martin kind of touched on this and very well said, in his citizen participation, that we are honoring our education support professionals And because of that, the district has a proclamation that we will read at this time. It says, whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And whereas education support professionals are integral to the education process, and whereas education support professionals provide a safe and healthy learning environment for students, and whereas education support professionals work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. Now therefore, I, Don Ryan, serving as board president of Cypress-Fairbanks ISD, do proclaim November 19th as National ESP Day, and recognize and acknowledge the importance of education support professionals in our public schools, colleges, and universities. So on behalf of the board and my colleagues, you are appreciated, and we thank you for all that you do. Please join me in giving them a hand. We will not have a need for closed session, so our meeting is adjourned. Thank all of you that attended.